Hey YouTube, today we're going to go over the fuel system that I'm going to use in my LS swap in my 1979 Chevy Impala. Now, everything in this video can kind of be used for, say a square body or other GM cars like G bodies, for instance. It's the same thing. So it's kind of one size fits all for this. So this is what I'm going to do for the fuel system for my swap. First off here, this is a stock fuel rail for a LS. It's got a feed and a return line. To start off, I found some adapters that go from 3/8. The feed is 3/8 and then the return is 5/16. I found some adapters here that are AN6 that will go on here. I'll show you how they go on here. These just unscrew just like so. And they slide on just like that. And they screw on from this end, and then you can put your fuel line on. It's kind of hard to do without a wrench here, but just like that, it'll go on there. And then I have a 5/16 one as well that'll go on the return line. I'm just using the factory fuel pressure regulator. That gets hooked up to vacuum there. So this one just goes like so. On these two fittings on eBay, I'll put a screenshot up on the screen for you guys so you can reference. I don't know about you guys, but I like to see what people use, so I'm going to put a picture on the screen for you here. So then after we're attached to the fuel rail, we can go to the fuel line. For the fuel line, I got 25 feet of PTFE AN6 fuel line from Evil Energy. I just cut it in half, so I got about 12.5 feet for the feed and return. This was about $60. I'll put a screenshot of it up here. I still have to get a tool to put these on here, but they'll just go on there just like so. And then they'll hook it right up. That fuel line will hook right up to the fuel rail. And you'll have two runs of fuel line going back to your tank. So right now my 79 Impala is carbureted. So instead of a carbureted sending unit, I went to Rock Auto. And I typed in 1990 Chevy Caprice, which that's a fuel injected car. They had fuel injected 305s in those cars. So this is just a fuel sending unit out of there. I did modify this a little bit. So this is a vent tube right here. These are usually have a little line right there, so you can put a hose clamp around there, around your hose. I ended up just using a tube cutter for just, brake lines, and I cut the ends of those off to slip on these two fittings here. These are 5/16 or 3/8 hard line compression fittings. So they just unscrew right here in the middle. They just unscrew right here in the middle. Then they just got a little crushy deal on the inside there. And you run them down and it crushes and holds it tight to the straight fuel line right there. So on this fuel sending unit, this is about $40. I got it from Rock Auto. But I mean, if you're just doing square body, you get you just go to Rock Auto and select a later generation square body, or if you're doing G bodies, then you just type in Grand National because they were fuel injected. So I mean, it's potato here. So and then so like I was saying, there's a vent tube there. This is the feed, and then this is the return. So you just hook up the appropriate ones to each one. And this here is a Chemso fuel pump I got off eBay. It's about a $45 pump. I'll put a screenshot of it up here. The internet says that this fuel pump is good for 500 horsepower. I'm going to go boosted. So I have goals of 500 horsepower, and so this should be just enough for that. And then it came with a, oh hey cat. It came with a plug here, and then I just spliced into the the positive and negative that are on the fuel sending unit. I just spliced into it there, put some connectors on there. Did a pretty good job heat shrinking it. I'll touch that up. And then it just comes out of this plug here. I believe the purple is your fuel level gauge, and the gray is your positive, black is negative. So you could just chop this and then just ground your negative wire and then run your positive to a 40 amp relay. So that's what I plan on doing for my 1979 box Chevy Impala. It's kind of a budget setup, I guess you could say, but it should work out pretty good. And then you could always upgrade in the future if something doesn't work out. So, like I said, this will work for any box Chevy, any square body, any G body. So I should also mention that I'm using the factory fuel tank out of the Impala that I have. I did replace it a couple of years ago. My Impala was sitting for roughly 20 years maybe. I did replace the fuel tank with a newer one, so it's a nice clean tank. But I am going to drop this EFI fuel sending unit into my carbureted tank in the car already. So I just thought I'd mention that. Thanks for watching.